Hello, fellow duelists. This is Shadow of the Moon, and thank you for being patient with me over these past few weeks as I kind of just took a break from the game and decided to finally jump back in after a while. So now I'm going to be bringing you, for the first video of 2023, my Blackwing deck profile. My famous Blackwing deck profile, my favorite deck of all time, favorite archetype, everything, right next to Harpies, of course, and Red Eyes. But before we get started, also, I just wanted to say thank you to all my new subscribers. I am at 314 as the recording of this video, and that just is amazing. I really appreciate everything that you guys do. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If it wasn't for me, I wouldn't be here. And I just cannot thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. You guys rock. Thank you for everybody that also reaches out to me and who emails me from YouTube. That is actually really, really cool. It was something I didn't even know that you could do up until, a few months ago. So right on, that's actually really, really cool. So this is going to be the new Blackwing deck profile for January 2023, and it has changed a little bit. I have added some few things, also taken some stuff out. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You also notice I do have a new field center. I have the World Championship, I have the World Tournament Qualifier field center for the Blackwing Dragon, Blackwing Assault Dragon, the new one. And I do know this video, or this build, a lot of times they do have, they'll have two of them in there. Because I'm playing Blackwing Armor Master, which is my favorite card of all time, I'm going to be only using the one Blackwing Assault Dragon, but the deck does very, very well, especially on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro and against actual people. It still does what it's supposed to do, especially against Ishizu, tier elements, and sprites. Alright, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight on into the deck profile. So first off, obviously your 3 copies of Moon. This is the main starter of the deck. You reveal a Blackwing monster from your hand, you reveal Moon, banish a Blackwing monster from your hand, and then from there, you are able to play Black Whirlwind directly from your deck, and then you keep the combo going. So mainly this and Sudri are going to be your main combo starters. You want these two and to be able to get on the field, because that is how you go into your insane combos. And as you can see, you're going to be noticing a lot of my decks are going to be double sleeve now. I've actually double sleeved a lot of my decks, the ones that are a little bit more rare and also, I guess, more sentimental to me. It's just to give extra protection on it, because I don't really want anything ever to happen to any of the cards and stuff, which hasn't happened before, but it easily can. Easily one of the best cards in this deck. Alright, so then you've got 3 copies of Sudri, Sudri the Phantom Glimmer. So obviously Sudri is going to be one of the best cards in this deck, because not only is it a searcher, but if you have Black Whirlwind on the field, that is a double searcher. So mainly you're going to want to search for, if you don't have them in your hand, search for Shamal with the Sandstorm, with Sudri, and then with Black Whirlwind you're going to be searching for Vata, the Emblem of Wandering. And this is a great card because also what it does is it can tribute a monster on the field to tribute a monster to be able to make a tuner for a token that is a level 2 tuner, which can work with this deck because this plays heavily into synchros. Alright, so then we've got 3 copies of Shamal the Sandstorm, an amazing card, adorable little guy. So activate it, its effect, discard this card or tribute this card from your hand or the field to play Black Feather Whirlwind, much like Moon, the poisonous one. So this is very, very important, because the second effect is really, really what really matters, definitely, is if you have it in your graveyard, you can banish it to send a card back from the graveyard to your hand. So you're going to be using that probably to send Sudri, or to send your 1 Hamart in the Dust, or whatever that you would like to be able to go into your full combo. And then I'm playing 2 Zephyros, the Elite. Most people nowadays only play this at 1. I've noticed, though, that it does come up. If you only have 1 of these, it does screw you, because you have no other way to send another Zephyros, the Elite, which is one of the main combos in this deck. So it's important to be able to have at least a backup in case you do draw into it. Otherwise, it becomes a major, major brick. I know there's ways to get it out of your hand and stuff, but it just becomes a major brick and disrupts the combo. Then you have 1 Gale the Whirlwind. Gale the Whirlwind is basically kind of like Bore the Spear in the older Blackwing deck. It's not a hard once per turn, and it can cut an opponent's monster's attack and defense in half. It's a level 3 tuner, and it goes with the deck really, really well. And then we have Steam the Cloak. Steam the Cloak is an amazing card. Steam the Cloak is when you have Boreas on the field and you synchro summon for it. This is the card that you're going to want to send to the graveyard 9 times out of 10, because you contribute a monster to special summon this from the graveyard, and then when this leaves the field, you can immediately have a Steam token. And that Steam token is level 1, meaning you're going to be using that to go into a level 7 when you have your Obsidian Tamer Hawk Joe. But Steam is amazing. I'm glad that we got this back at one as Blackwing players, because you don't have to play Chris on Hackerfrax anymore, because that's, banned. So this is kind of like our own version of it. All right, and then we've got 3 copies of Vada, the Emblem of Wandering. I just found this out recently. Vada is, I believe, is in German, I think, means father. So basically, father, Big Pants. They call him Father Pants because of what he does. He's amazing with this deck. So if you control Blackwing monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you tribute him, and then send 2 Blackwing monsters from your deck to the graveyard, and allows you to special summon Blackwing, basically Blackwing Dragon. You're going to be sending Zephyros, and then you're going to be sending Chinook, or another level 2, to be able to go into Blackwing Dragon, which can start with your combo, and it's just an amazing card overall, in my opinion. Just absolutely amazing. Alright, and then you're going to be playing 1 Chinook, because this is a great hand trap for Blackwings, because it can negate an opponent's monster's effect and decrease their attack by 700 points. So very, very useful in the deck, and that's why I only run 1 of them. And one Hamart in the Dust God, I wish this guy was rare, at least super rare, at least. He's amazing because he can copy a level of a Blackwing and add it to his own. So if it is a level 3, he can become a level 5. If there's a level 4, he becomes a level 6. So, I mean, he's very versatile, and is also a free special summon because he goes with the Blackwings. And then we have the last Blackwing, Orochi the Squall. It's a level 1, the lowest one that you have in the deck, so you can search for it. And it's a level 1 tuner, obviously special summon if you control a Blackwing monster. Yeah, I mean, it works really, really well with the deck. Alright, so for the non-Blackwings, we're going to have 1 copy of Raider's Wing, still important in the deck. I don't really consider this card a brick anymore, because 9 times out of 10, if you have this, you can still, if you go into Y-Strix, you'll be able to search for your rank up magic launch. So you're still going to be able to get it. And I mean, basically, when this card is in the graveyard or in your hand, you can detach an Xyz material to special summon it. So this helps you go into your copy of Borreload Savage Dragon or your Drake Berserker of the Tenyai, which is now in this deck. And then 1 copy of Radion the Kaiju. So let's talk about Radion for a second. I know a lot of players swear by Vishuda. The only problem with Vishuda is, yeah, it's a level 7, and it can help you go into level 8 very quickly in the game if you have an Orochi the Squall. But I like Radion because Radion is potentially, since it is a Kaiju, if you do have it in your hand, even if you don't use it using Small World, you can still activate its effect on your turn if your opponent goes first to kind of get rid of one of their boss monsters. And also, it's just an amazing card because it works so well with the deck, in my opinion, because it doesn't really cause any bricks or anything, and I still can use it even if I have it in my hand, like I said before, and I have Small World, and it's my opponent went first. So, all right, so new member of the Blackwing family, since everyone's playing Ishizu Tearuments, Dimension Shifter, and you're probably wondering, Shadow, this is going to ruin your strategy, but actually, there's still a way in this deck, and I'm going to be showing you in a combo tutorial in the next few weeks or so, how to go through and get Kali Yuga still having Dimension Shifter by playing Dimension Shifter. You can still go into Kali Yuga that way. That's crazy. Making it to where your opponent basically cannot play anything in the graveyard because it gets banished. And a lot of people are playing that nowadays. Also, a lot of people are playing the Dimension Fissure since it's back at 3, but I'm not. I don't really want to mess with that too much. Alright, so I've got 3 copies of your Psyframe Gamma and your 1 copy of Driver. Basically still one of the best cards in the deck because it does destroy a card on the field as opposed to just negating its effect. So that's very important. Also, since it is a level, it becomes level 8, you can bring out a level 8 like Draco Berserker, and still one of the best hand traps in the game, in my opinion, and perfect for Blackwings. So that's going to be it for the monsters. Now let's move on to the spells. So obviously 3 Black Whirlwind. I had to bump it up to 3 because this card is more imperative and more needed than ever before, because you need to be able to search for those Blackwing monsters. You need to be able to keep this on the field. One thing though is keep in mind that you no longer have that ability to destroy it or bounce it back using Zephyros the Elite, because now you're using Zephyros to bounce back Black Feather Whirlwind. So you want to make sure that you use your Rusty to target when you go into Kali Yuga or go into Arsenal Falcon to pop this, so you do not lose 1,000. And then 2 copies of Black Feather Whirlwind, because this card you only need 2 of in the deck. It's very searchable, just like with Shamal or even by itself. So yeah, this is an important card. Only use 2 of these. This is a way to be able to special summon a Blackwing back from the graveyard, and also adds to the Black Feather counters, just like the Blackwing Dragon does. And then 3 copies, obviously, of Small World. This is one of the best cards in the deck because it allows you to go into anything. If you have it in your hand, you just banish a card face down, and then you banish a card from your deck face down, and then add from your deck to your hand a monster either with the same attack, defense, attribute, star, whatever. And this can help you kind of modify your hand to your liking, to whatever you would prefer to do. And I am poor. I cannot afford Pot of Prosperity. Otherwise, I would be playing it. So I'm just running 2 copies of Lore, which is basically the Blackwing poor man's version of Pot of Prosperity because, like I said, I cannot afford it. It's really, really expensive. And Phantom Rights Rank Up Magic Launch. This is strangling here for the Kali Yuga combo. And then Allure of Darkness is great because you just banish a card but you draw 2 cards first, and it works with Dark Monsters, which basically everything in this deck except for Cyframe is going to be your Dark Monster. So it's a good substitute in my opinion. And then the only trap card that I'm playing in Twin Shadow, which is the easy way to bring out full Armor Master later in the game to be able just to send back Shamal and Simoon back to the deck, or send back Boreas and Sudri, or Boreas and Zephyros, or whatever you'd like to be able to go into full Armor Master because it is level 10. This is a great card. So that's going to be it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. So first, obviously, I'm going to do them in tandem. So it's going to be your Blackwing Assault Dragon. Like I said before, I run my Armor Master because that's like my favorite card of all time. So otherwise, you would replace that with a second copy of your Assault Dragon. Assault Dragon is a great burn because it's 700 per turn, and also it's a great way to get a fodder if you need it under the field to be able to go into Rusty Bardiche if you do not have another Dark Monster that you're able to use. And then obviously Blackwing Dragon, which is in the deck, and can also, instead of taking burn damage, you decrease its attack by 700 points. So yeah, very, very important in this deck because you're going to need to be able to keep going into those combos and everything, and it's a great card. I mean, you can burn your opponent out by having 1400 or even 2100 or whatever you would want, but I'm just using the one in there because of the one effect. And then obviously full Armor Master, and then my Armor Master. So like I said before, this can be replaced with Assault Dragon. If you downvote this video or you don't like it, I apologize. Don't really know what to tell you. I'm not ever taking this guy out anyways. And I only ever really find the need for one Blackwing Assault Dragon a lot of times because when I'm playing against an opponent, I'm setting up for a different field other than just the burn, so I don't really ever have a problem. So full Armor Master obviously is unaffected by card effects, and Blackwing Armor Master is another generic level 7 synchro monster that you can go into using Obsidian Tamarok Joe, or if you have Raikiri, you can go on that one. And then we have 1 copy of Obsidian Tamarok Joe. This guy is much more important than before because of the bring back from the graveyard effect, because you're going to bring back Boreas, which then you're going to tune the token, and then Boreas, which is a tuner, to go into your another generic level 7 to go into your Arsenal Falcon. And then you have Raikiri, the Rain Shower. This pops cards on the field. Actually very useful now, especially in this format, because it allows you to pop cards on the field equal to the number of Blackwing monsters that you have. And then you have From the Starlight. This is an MVP of the deck. I cannot stress that enough, because this guy will allow you to get an extra normal summon. So when that Shamal's in the graveyard, you have Sudri. Add Sudri back to your hand using Shamal's effect, and then immediately go for Sudri's effect, which allows you to have 2 extra cards if you have Black Whirlwind on the field. It's crazy. Alright, then you have a copy of Boreas the Wicked Wind. This allows you to send Steam the Cloak to the graveyard, or you can send Shamal if you're going for a different play, but mainly that's what he's in here, and he's a tuner, which can modify its level depending on the monster that you send to the graveyard, which can be very, very, very helpful. And then for the negates, we have Borreload Savage Dragon and Dragon Berserker. If you want to keep the Dragoon, you can. That's totally an option. That's something you want to do. But I'm in this format that Draco is a little bit more potent, because even with it being negated with the effect of Kali Yuga, it makes it to where you don't have to have a card in your hand, and you can still negate a monster effect, which can help you because early on in the game you're going to want to get that monster effect negate. And then obviously Borreload Savage Dragon, because he's Borreload Savage Dragon, and he negates that Omni negate. So it's another way to protect your Arsenal Falcon from effects. And then obviously Arsenal Falcon and Kali Yuga, the greatest combo. You drop this on them 9 times out of 10, it's a GG handshake, because they're not going to be able to really do anything. They cannot play face-up cards on the field. They're all negated. They can still play from their hand or still play from the graveyard, but in terms of the field, it is And then you have your Darkness Metal, the Dragon of Dark Steel. Let's say that 5 times fast. So this is going to be in here because this will allow you to go into Kali Yuga Another way, if one of your key pieces and cards gets negated or banished or whatever, if you have Arsenal Falcon in the graveyard or banished, you can actually bring it back. And then if you have rank up Magic Force, you can still have that set. So there's another way for you to be able to go into Arsenal Falcon. It's kind of a failsafe. And then lastly, you have your Rusty Bardiche and your Y-Strix. Y-Strix will allow you to special summon a level 4, and then Rusty is going to just allow you to send Raiders Wing to the graveyard to add Phantom Knight's Spell and Trap from your deck to the onto the field. So that's going to be it for this deck profile, and I'm just really, I have a lot of fun with this deck now because there's so much this deck can do. It has been improved quite a bit since the last video. I mean, I know there's still a lot of stuff that's the same, but honestly, it's a lot more fluid. And with the new tier elements, I'm going to be honest, that was one of the reasons why I actually took a break, was because I am not really a big fan of this format. I know people like it, and I know a lot of people hate it. I'm one of the people who don't really like it too much because it's tier 0. I'm not really ever a big fan of tier 0. You don't really get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! With tier 0 decks because a lot of times, you know, they're playing during your turn, especially with the Bestials and everything. And if you want to add Bestials in this deck, that's entirely up to you. But I'm just not really a fan of, like, all these different interactions and everything. Because, yeah, I know people saying, oh, yeah, that's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Was missing, was interactions between the players and stuff. But there's a fine line between interaction and then just being a dick. Where, like, you don't get to really play anything. Everything gets negated or everything is an interruption to a point where you just can't even play the game. And with the Shizu tier elements, it makes it to where you mill 30 cards from your deck if they have the right stuff that they get milled, and then it just becomes like it's a grind fest and it's not really even fun. That's why dimensional shifters in here, and that's why a lot of people play Dimension Fisher, because it prevents Ishizus from kind of getting out of hand. But still, with tier 0, that's pretty much the only deck that you're going to be playing is either A, tier elements, or you're going to be playing some form of sprite and splight or whatever. But it's just, for me, it's just not really fun. Those are the only two decks. I did notice a lot of people experimenting with Gates of the Underworld, the new Dark World structure deck and everything, and like the new Crystal Beast, which I thought was really cool because that actually won a recent tournament in Brazil, I think by Jesse Cotton, and that was kind of cool. But just in my opinion, I'm just not a fan of it. And I do build my deck to kind of keep up with it to a certain point, but I'm just waiting mostly for the format to kind of die down a little bit and it becomes less tier 0. I just have no idea when that's going to be, but I'm hoping it's soon. And if you want to know most of these videos and stuff, I do get a lot of inspiration from, obviously, Silent Blackwing and Connaught Gaming, so I want to give a shout out to those two guys. They're amazing, especially Connaught Gaming. He is like the mad scientist of the Blackwing community. I swear that guy comes up with a strategy every single day or two where it's like you never thought that you'd be able to work it and work it with the deck, but you do. So alright, so that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've got a lot of other videos coming. A Red Eyes Black Dragon deck profile. I've got a Speedroid updated deck profile, which isn't too much, but it's just still an updated deck profile. Some of my wife's decks is going to be updated. A new Harpy deck list profile up, kind of more even balance without using Summoner and stuff. And just, plan on having a good time. I do plan on maybe updating my Angel deck when some of the card prices kind of go down a little bit. But yeah, just all in all, just having a good time. And I just want to say thank you so much for helping me get to 314, and I'm glad that you enjoy the content. And with that, see you guys next time. Later.